So when you're ready to pair the AMBLE to the programmer, you just select, you look for it on that little drop down, hit AMBLE, hit connect. We hit that therapy button. This, I used this with a previous patient, so it's asking me, do I want to use that same data points? I'm going to say no. And this is what you're doing at the beginning of every treatment with AMBLE. You're going to have that patient straight up in neutral, hit calibrate. Calibration successful. Then we are doing a walking evaluation of 10 steps. Just a reminder, the AMBLE is not actually assisting the patient in this point. Okay, after the 10 steps, it is going to give you some proposed values here based on the walking evaluation. You select which box you actually want to use during treatment. If you want to use these in trial, you hit the orange button, use in trial. If you want to kind of retest that walking evaluation, you can hit the blue reinitialize button. So I'm going to use all of these in trial. And now we have our specialist Solo with us, who's going to give us some advice on when you would change any of these parameters on here. So the first thing to remember is you are going to have to recalibrate the system each time you are about to start treatment. So I'm recalibrating the foot sensors basically as their ankles in neutral. So hit recalibrate, and then we are hitting start therapy. Okay, so let's say it's their patient's first time using it. If I go to this advanced settings button right here, Solo, when are some of the reasons we might be changing this low, medium, or high rise time? Any patient scenarios or any general guidelines you would recommend?
Yes. Always keep the rise time low for newer patients using the device to allow them time to get acquainted to what the actions of the device. And if as they progress through their therapy, you do want to gradually increase back to a higher rise time. So the device actuates a little bit slower and allows them to do the work first.
And when we go to a high rise time, if I go back to that monitor therapy screen, that's what allows them to have a higher chance of contributing to that human autonomy index, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it opens up the slot for them to perform the movement. So if they're able to stay within that slot, within that square, essentially, they will have a higher chance of reaching a higher HAI. But if you make it super small, then it will be a lot tougher to reach a higher HAI.
Okay. And there's a few ways, just for those who are watching this that don't know, when I'm changing that rise time, there's a few ways you can do that. You can either just grab that little orange ball right under rise time % swing, and you can just drag it, or you can go to that kind of graph looking part of the screen to the right, and you can drag these orange pieces individually here. So if I separate these two orange circles, that actually changes the hold time as well. We can change the hold time really any part of the screen, but the advanced settings is the only place where you can change rise time. Do you have a recommended target angle for these patients, or are you more relying on the walking evaluation?
Absolutely. Great question. So I have a recommended target angle of greater than 7. So I would say between 7 to 10 degrees for the target angle. This is just what I've seen to work with majority of patients using the device.
Okay. And is that at the beginning just for their first session, or is that in general?
So this would be in general. But as they progress, what you want to look at next is that gray box to the right, where it says step, heel first strikes, and peak swing angle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are seeing that they're getting, let's say, 13.25 degrees of peak swing angle, you want to stay at least 2 degrees above that. So then you'd want to increase it to 15.25 target angle. So they have more degrees to reach.
Okay. And just again, the way we change that is we just click on this box and then we hit the plus or the minus button. If I slide one over, if we go with swing time in seconds, a lot of times this is calculated with the walking evaluation, but is there any time that you manually change this?
Yes. One time that you will change the swing time is if you are going from overground to treadmill. While they are on the treadmill, the speed of the treadmill will change their swing time. And what you can do is you can measure their swing time manually using a stopwatch. And that should also be good enough to get it close to what their actual swing time is on the treadmill.
Okay, so let's say they're speeding up. I'm going to make that swing time usually quicker. Yeah. Would the other way to do that, if I understand that correctly, is we would do another walking evaluation when they get on the treadmill?
So you can't do another walking evaluation while they're on the treadmill because they need to be standing still for the recalibration. And once the treadmill is going, they're already counting steps. So the steps to get you to, let's say, 1.5 miles per hour on a treadmill, it might take someone 7 steps to get to that desired swing. By that time, you're 70% done with the initial evaluation, the walking evaluation, which will make the swing time incorrect.
That's true. Okay, that's great advice. And then hold time. So this is how long they're held in that maximum peak angle of dorsiflexion, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any tips for this on when you're changing this for patients?
Yes. This you really have to have that therapist eye. And you want to make sure that they're able to hold dorsiflexion throughout their swing and into the initial contact of their heel first strike. If you're seeing that their foot is dropping before it's for that initial contact for heel first, you want to increase the hold time. And if you're also seeing that there's a lot of foot slap, you also want to increase that hold time as well.
Okay.
That will add as a dampening for that foot slap.
Help them eccentrically, basically.
Yes.
And then just like in advanced settings, like as they progress, we may be going from a low to high rise time. When we talk about level of assist, that tends to be how a lot of patients progress as well, correct? In that they're starting more medium to high level of assist and progressing to low.
Correct.
Okay. Any other reasons you would change that besides just as they're going through their course of care?
This here would strictly just be how they're progressing through their course of care. If they're getting tired, you might want to increase the level of assist just to have them get through, lack of better words, get through the workout or get through the session. Push them a little bit more to achieve that higher cardiorespiratory fitness. That would be the only time you would change the level of assist.